to the Who is Will Sims podcast. Well, we're back after a long absence. I've been struggling a lot in the outside world. Some would call it life. I call it everything other than this. Anything other than doing what I want to do. That's just life. But yeah, the podcast is still something I want to do. It is an effort to make it, but not so much that it's not something that I can't afford to not keep doing, if that makes any sense. Basically, what I'm trying to say is the podcast will go on as long as I'm able to do it. But in general, I've been struggling a lot. Life was really hard the last year and a half. Late 2024, I lost my dad, and made me rethink my life and how I wanted to do things, how I wanted to be a part of, what my part in the world might be. Because, you could spend your whole life working a dead-end job and get nowhere. But I also recognize that, the job I have is good. I make good money doing it. They're flexible with the lifestyle that I have. And it allows me to do stuff like this. It gives me, insight into the technology that's available and the how it operates and all that stuff. And so I've been struggling to find the motivation to really get things going again here, but I figure just like with anything, you got to make that first step and then go from there. But the podcast isn't the only thing that's been affected. Music was really hard to do for a while. Just general life stuff, and that's kind of, I don't know if it's, a compound of things that I've been dealing with the past year, or if, I'm just reaching a breaking point in life. I'm 35, and, I'm approaching that midlife crisis territory, I guess. And, you just got to wonder if you're on the right path, if you're doing the right things with your life, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend I have all the answers like everyone else on the internet does, but, maybe my struggle will make other people realize they're not alone. And if that helps one person, then it's worth it. Maybe I won't get to be the person that, makes it somewhere, but maybe I'll inspire the person who will. So, motivation, it's been a struggle recently. I had a very difficult year of work last year. Just the later half of the year was just insane. Going into the beginning of this year, and really didn't have a lot of time or energy to do anything. Most of my free time I'd spend playing video games, which is fun, but the reality is it's escapism. And just trying to escape from the frustrations of real life, so that I can bear to be in it when I'm there. And, you try to find that excitement. There's things that excite you, but, it's really not there. I'm not really excited about movies that are coming out. I'm still working on music, but I feel like I keep generating great ideas, but I don't have the time or energy to sit down to, I have the time. I just don't have the energy or the drive to sit down and really work on them. Luckily, I have mastered the art of pulling out my phone and hitting record and recording the ideas so that I can visit them later when I am in the zone and I'm ready to make things happen. But that said, I've been, I don't know if it's depression or not, or just, feeling of loneliness that I have, that's just been kind of pulling me down, making me not want to try as much as I should. I want to get healthy. I want to lose weight. I want to be in shape. I did join a Muay Thai class. That's been really fun. It's one of the few things that has gotten me excited. I've been working towards eating healthier and trying to focus I basically am going to try to cut out carbs, but I'm not 100% there yet, but I've been taking the steps to try and make that happen, trying to eliminate bad options and present myself with more good options. But and luckily we've gotten to a point where like almost everything comes in some kind of low carb format. My favorite thing is wraps. Like they make low carb wraps now, which are awesome. My brother says it's all unhealthy because of the way they make it, but at this point, like it's probably more important that I lose the weight than focus on not eating manufactured stuff. At this point, I'm like really struggling to be a physical person. Like I've still got my strength, which is great. I could still fucking move shit like no problem. But I think anytime I have to go for a long period of time, it has a wear on my body. And I wanna be fit. I want to be a beast. I want to be in beast mode all the time, but I feel like it would also make my shows a lot better because, I used to jump around and run around and have all this energy, and now it's like I just want to stand there and sing, and I feel like I look awkward if I try to have too much energy. I see other guys that do it, other bigger dudes that do it, and they have energy, but sometimes I feel like people are entertained by it, but they don't necessarily take it like seriously. They take it as like, this guy's like trying to be funny or entertaining because he's a big dude. Like almost like this Chris Farley aspect. Like if Chris Farley was trying to be serious, like you would still probably think it's funny, but I don't know. It's just a thought. I'm just looking at it through the lens of how I see myself. So I know it's not perfect, but I'm trying here to try my damnedest to make sense of it in my head so that I can try to visualize a path forward. And so if you got any tips out there for good low carb meals that I can make at home, I like to cook, so cooking's not an issue. I love getting lately I've been getting it's like sliced ribeye steak like you would use to make a cheesesteak, but it's not like the frozen ones, which are kind of like, they're okay, but they're usually not very good. So I get those, and then I cook them with like onions and peppers, and then I get like a low carb wrap. I've been getting like the pimento cheese stuff, which I think is supposedly pretty good. I gotta double check, but I think it's low carb. It's mostly cheese and mayonnaise and stuff that's high in fat but low in sugar. And that's been a pretty good combo. So yeah, trying to get myself right. That's one of the reasons I've been kind of taking a break from a lot of things. I kind of fell off with the music stuff. So the first half of this year, I've already got a lot of gigs booked, but the first half of this year is kind of, a little slow right now. But I got stuff booked throughout the year. I'll be at a lot of the places I've been playing. They've been kind enough to have me back. So I hope that I can continue to impress and make those venues want to keep having me back. But aside from all that, I've been just been trying to get myself to a place where I feel right. You know, loneliness is definitely something I struggle with, but I also recognize if I'm in a dark place and I'm not right, then it's not fair to try to bring somebody else into that I might care about. And so I've been trying to get myself to the right place and be somebody that's worth having around. It's tough sometimes. It feels like there's more people out there than ever, and we're all just continue to distance ourselves from each other. And building those bridges to new connections is like, it's like a shot in the dark. If that'll work out to be something. So I'm trying to get myself to the right place in my head, and then hopefully from there, I will, everything will fall into place. So yeah, that's what I got to say about me. I know that it's kind of a downer thing to talk about, but it's one of those things where if you don't, you got to see yourself, you got to see the flaws in yourself, and respect and appreciate the things that you can't change, and focus on the things that you can. And I feel like that's the thing that a lot of people either, they struggle with. They don't see themselves as flawed. They think that they've got all the answers, that they are doing it right and everyone else is doing it wrong. Or they see everything as hopeless. The whole world is stacked against them, and there's no hope out there. But the truth is, for everyone, there's that median, or I don't know. I'm not an English professor, but that middle ground of like acceptance and defiance of what you can change and what you can't. So, what have I got going on? So I've been working on music nonstop. It's one of the few things I've been lucky enough to keep happening is keep getting in the studio, keep working with these producers and making, some magic happen. Hopefully this will post within the next week or so. I'll be having an album that's going to start releasing throughout this year. The full album should be out in July. But the first single will be dropping in late February. I just released an acoustic EP that I recorded. That was recorded at Merriweather Post Pavilion, and yeah, we were doing a job there for work, and we weren't even we weren't even really like tied into like the house system or anything like that. I don't even know if they had a house system up. I know sometimes they rent out the audio system like for the summer or whatever because it's an outdoor venue, but in general, we had all our own speakers set up, and we were basically doing a fundraiser event. It was set up on the stage of Merriweather and on like the pit area. And so I thought it would be fun to sound check the sound system by playing a couple songs. And the guy, Dino, who was the sound guy, recorded it on the board. And I played a few songs for the 3 or 4 workers that were there and the people that were there working the event. There was like 7 or 8 people in the whole pavilion, which, seats however many thousand. Hold on, let me look it up. Merriweather Post Pavilion, crowd size. I feel like there's a better way to say that. 50,000 That's more than I thought it would be, I'll be honest. Oh, wait, no. Hold on. IMP. Oh, okay, so that has to do with the event. Meriwether Post Pavilion, the capacity, that was the word I was looking for. Capacity is 19,319 people. I had 6 people there, so, but I've still seen so many amazing shows there over the years, so the prestige of just getting to do that was something I couldn't pass up. And yeah, he recorded off the board. Sadly, it wasn't the greatest performance I've ever done, but I took it to Tony Corelli, and he made some magic happen with it, and I think it turned out pretty good. And now it's out there for people to listen to. Hopefully it will actualize into a real performance there one day, but I could at least got to say I played on that stage. It's a fun little gray area that I get to play in there. But yeah, so many amazing shows I've seen there. There was I went to HF Festival there one year when it was Third Eye Blind, Billy Idol. It was one of the first year. Oh yeah, 2010. That sounds about right. Is the lineup here? HF Festival 2010 lineup. Yeah, that was Billy Idol was awesome, but there was just a lot of great. I like how I put that, and it still won't tell me. It still won't just give me the list. It's annoying as balls. 2010. Still no. It is on Wikipedia, so that's nice. All right, 2010. So Lit, Marcy's Playground, Fuel, The Presidents of the United States of America, Ed Kowalski, Naughty by Nature, Everclear, Billy Idol, Third Eye Blind. And they had a local stage, but I didn't really get to check that out a whole much. There's a band from the area called Jimmy's Chicken Shack. They play a lot of the local things. But yeah, I mean, I think I saw most of the bands there. I didn't catch some of the earlier bands, but I caught Fuel, Presidents of the United States of America, who were amazing. They haven't really released a lot of stuff over the years. They don't have a lot of music out there. But that first album they did was a banger, and they played a lot of stuff off of that. Ed Kowalski's set was weird because it was like a solo set. If you don't know him, he's from the band Live. And, it was basically him, downstage center, where a normal lead singer would be. And the rest of the band was, in a circle, all the way along, the back of the stage, as far away from them as they could get him. As far away from him as they could get him, just in a circle around him, and then he had this 15-foot radius all around him that would no one was near him. It was so bizarre. And then Naughty by Nature, that was cool. I don't really know a lot of stuff by them, but they were a lot of fun. Everclear, I love their songs. Billy Idol was awesome. Third Eye Blind was good. But that wasn't the best performance I've seen them. I've seen them 6 or 7 times over the years, and I want to say the more recent shows I've seen from them have been the best shows I've seen from them, because they've really kind of dialed in their live show, and I think that they've really come a long way. So yeah, I've been to a lot of awesome shows there. I've seen Incubus, I've seen 9 Inch Nails, Jane's Addiction. REM was one of the cooler shows I saw there. They were great. But yeah, it was kind of one of those things where I couldn't pass up the opportunity to record on that stage, so I did it. And yeah. And then so I released an EP last year. It's out now. And now I've got an album coming out this year. And I've got more stuff queued up that I'm wrapping up and will hopefully be ready to release, going into next year. So, entertainment. I've been watching TV and movies and stuff, but I didn't really think about that a lot when going into this podcast. So maybe I'll do that another day. I don't know how many people watch this to hear about what I've watched as like, a review of whatever I watched. Because, it's not like I'm watching the newest, coolest shit. It's like, oh, I finally watched the show that came out 8 years ago that I thought, hey, it'd be cool to check that out. So, but yeah, I definitely still want to talk about all the nerd shit I'm into. So I might do some of that stuff, but try to get some other people in that are into that as well. And we can talk about it as a group. And it might be a little more fun that way than me just sitting here nerding out over stuff. What else? I've got some guests lined up. I got a bunch of people that are coming in this weekend that I'm also venturing out to a remote location to video a podcast. So, hoping to get some episodes lined up for the, earlier part of this year. There's some people that I want to meet back up with again, and catch back up and talk about their new stuff. But in general, the podcast will go on as much as I can. It's relatively inexpensive to produce. It's only like $15, something like that a month to keep everything posted, and even if it became that big of an issue, I could still post it on YouTube for free and make them for free, but this is really, I know I've said this before, but the podcast is really about, a chance for me to, talk to people that I wish I could get to know better on a regular basis, but I really only get to see them at shows and in between sets or before their set, and then after their set, they're too busy to talk. You don't really get those moments when you're out in the music scene. And so, hopefully there are people out there that are interested in hearing their stories. I know that as a musician myself, I would love people to know about how things came about and my thought process on things, and hopefully it's something that's inspiring to like people that are learning and want answers and stuff, maybe those little revelations are helpful, but in general, it's really just a chance for me to make those connections deeper because, I have so much respect for all these people, and I know there's a lot of people that respect what I do and the effort I put in. I've been called the hardest working person in the Baltimore music scene. I don't know if that's true, but I definitely work pretty hard. I'm not going to deny that, but sometimes you can expend a lot of energy for the tiniest results or expend a little bit of energy and get a great result. And if only there was a good rhythm you could find for it, but a lot of times you just kind of got to do it and hope for the best. And so that's kind of what I'm doing with this podcast. That's what I'm doing with my music. If you want to support me, you can go to whoiswillsims.com. I've got merch up there. I've got music on all the streaming services. I've been working hard at getting my music heard on Spotify, like trying to get on their algorithmic playlists so that they'll push me out to new listeners. The song I wrote last year for my dad, "You Were Always There," is out. It's been I don't know if it's connecting with people or not, but it's been kind of scooped up by the algorithm, and it's been getting pushed out to people, and that's was pretty surprising. I didn't even I wasn't even really expecting that. So it's exciting. It's an exciting time in a lot of ways. And I just got to rise to that occasion and really make it mean something, So, well, thank you for listening today. Hope you're enjoying whoever's out there listening. I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you'll keep listening. I did get a backtrack thing from Buzzsprout, which basically tells me how my podcast did this year. And basically it had 151 downloads. I've done 20 episodes this year. Listeners in 6 countries, 1.07k minutes. 1,000. I don't know. I'm having trouble I feel like they could have just not put the K there and put 1,070 minutes. It would have made a lot more sense, but they put 1.07k minutes. So I can't tell if that's 1,007 minutes, 70 minutes, or if they're like trying to make it seem like a lot of people listened and nobody is. But it looks like a lot based on that. And then I've had a 381% growth, whatever that means. But, hoping to keep it going this year. I know the real key to success with these things is, no, I'm not looking for schedule, but like just that repetitive, consistency is the word I'm looking for. Being consistent. And I know that it's tough for me sometimes because, sometimes I have no gigs on a weekend, like this weekend coming up, and I'm going to try to do 6 or 7 episodes, burn through them this weekend. And then I can work on them the next couple weeks and have a steady stream of content coming out. But then there's times where I have 4 or 5 gigs in a weekend and I have no energy and then I'm recovering for that for another week, so we'll see how that goes. But, 'tis the season to make magic happen. So stay frosty out there. If you're interested in hearing my thoughts or opinions on anything, leave comments or, find me on the socials and drop me a message. Doing my best out here. Stay frosty. Will out.